All right. So welcome to 34 Questions. I'm 34 here with my guest today. I'll let him introduce himself. Go for it, man.
What's going on, everybody? I go by Section 2, artist, songwriter, producer from New York City. And yeah, man, thank you again for having me. I'm super happy to be here.
For sure, man. Yeah, so I kind of came across your music on Spotify. I think it popped up in my Discover Weekly. I think you I probably already know my favorite song. It looks like it's also your most popular song out there right now. But yeah, tell me about that. Like, how long have you been making music for?
Um, I think I've probably been making music since I was like 15 or 16, but I probably started taking it seriously when I was like 18 or 19. So I'm 24 now. It's probably like 5 or 6 years ago now.
For
So,
sure.
so yeah, I started out primarily just making beats, and then I want to say probably like 3 years ago, I started to mess around with songwriting, and a year after that, I started working on portrait, and then yeah, and
I
then
got you.
all kind of spiraled into where we're at now. So
Who, which artists would you say are your greatest influences?
my greatest influences, probably Frank Ocean,
Hmm.
um, James Blake, Marvin Gaye, Biggie.
That's what's up.
Um, Big music soul child fan,
Yeah,
Lauryn Hill,
yeah.
Michael Jackson. The list is long and it changes from day to day depending on when you ask me. But at the moment, right now, the
No
list
doubt, no
is
doubt.
there.
That's what's up. So listening, I would say, let me look up so I don't butcher the names of your albums real quick, because I did take a listen today, just a refresher. I had a fresh ear to things. I listened to your new project, Never Nothing, that came out yesterday or this weekend.
Thursday, yeah, I think
Came out
last
Thursday.
Thursday.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit about that project. What kind of inspired that, and because it sounded a little different from Cascade Effect, in my opinion.
Mhm.
So yeah, what made you go in that direction for this one?
Yeah, it was kind of just a result of the pandemic, just
Mm,
being in the house and getting kind of bored with like doing the same thing over and over again and just trying to experiment with different sounds. And it actually kind of started out as like just me like doing freestyles and like tapping into the rap stuff a little bit more, just again because I just wanted to like dive deeper into that. I was doing it a little bit before, but not as heavily as I was doing it last summer.
mm-hmm.
So yeah, what started out with like just me freestyling over like different beats and stuff like that kind of spiraled into Never Nothing, the actual project, where it was like 7 songs that me and my co-producer, Identity Crisis, we really like took our time and like mapped out 7 quality songs out of the like, I don't know, we probably made like over 20 or 25 different songs
For sure.
for the project. But yeah, that was kind of the process behind that.
You said you had 25 songs ready for this project, or
I wouldn't say ready for the project, but
okay,
I
yeah,
probably
yeah,
made like 25 of them. Yeah.
I got you. And these seven made the cut out of those 25. Pretty.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Would we ever be able to listen to those other songs that didn't make this one, or are you moving
Um,
past that? You know.
that's a good question. There are a handful that I would like them to see the light of day, but
Yeah.
I mean, I like honestly at this point, like I'm so like I'm in like my next project mode right now. But I mean, hey, like
I hear
you
you.
never know. Like we'll see.
Yeah. How well known would you say you are? Like I don't know if your fan base, like if you consider it big, or as it has how's the I guess how's listeners been finding you? Are you seeing an increase in plays and all that?
It's I would say it's very slow, but it is. Hmm. The people that do listen, they're a very substantial and loving group. Like
Oh yeah.
Like the people that really like Section Two, like really like Section Two, which is something I'm super grateful for. Like I'll be the first to say that I don't have the biggest fan base in the world, but like the people that really do support me really do support me. So that's something that's like super important to me. So
For sure. Have you been, doing shows before, before all the shutdowns and everything? Or were you just like, trying to create more music to be able to perform later down the road?
yeah, kind of a mixture of both. I think I had done 3 shows before everything shut down. I had done I had done like a showcase in November of 2019. I did like my first like real show with like a live band in January of 2020, and then I did another one of those in like March, like the week before everything shut down.
I
And I
gotcha.
had I had like a really big show planned for that April, but ended up not happening,
Yeah, not in the
unfortunately.
cards, not in the cards. For now, for
Yeah.
now,
For now,
Yeah,
I am extremely excited to get back to rehearsing and hopefully touring and all that good stuff. So
Um, I mean, obviously, I've never been to any of your shows, but how do you are you, like, what's your performance type? Do you like it a little more, I guess, an intimate kind of performance versus, something that's more theatrical and more of a show? Like, how do you approach doing that right now, I guess, at this stage that you're at?
mhm. Yeah, I'd say when I just had Portrait out, everything was like really intimate. Like I spent 95% of the show singing, so everything was like super intimate. But again, it was super early and I had only done 2 shows, so I was super nervous. So like
Oh
my
yeah,
eyes were closed most of the time. But like I feel like now that I have a project like Never Nothing and Cascade Effect out as well, like I I feel like things would still be intimate, but there would be another measure of, I don't want to use the word theatrics, but maybe energy
yeah, yeah.
is a better
You're right.
word.
You're right. Yeah, energy for sure.
So yeah.
All right. Well, those are some. Thank you for speaking about your music. It's not. I want this to be more about who you are. So
Hmm.
let's get it moving. We'll
Yeah.
do a little bit of a few warm up questions, and the one I'd like to start off with is how have you been? You doing good? You in a good mental space, and or yeah. How have you been?
Hmm. Recently, I can say that I've been better than I was like most of quarantine last year. I feel like I'm definitely in a more positive headspace than I was for a lot of last year. So I'm super thankful for that.
For
That
sure.
moment.
I'm glad to hear. I'm glad to hear. I like to ask that question because I don't know when sometimes the last time people have been asked that. So just wanted to check in first and
No, yeah, I
foremost.
appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah. What is something that you would like the audience to know about you? So, if there's any like y- if you needed a chance to defend yourself, I guess this would be like a disclaimer, like, oh, this is who I am. This is where I'm coming from, kind of point of view. But yeah,
Hmm.
if there is, if there's nothing, it's all good.
Hmm. I've probably said this like on my Instagram or on my Twitter or something like that, but if there was anything that I wanted fans to know, it's that like I am super super grateful to be able to make music and like just have the small platform that I do, and the fact that like literally anyone on this planet like listens to anything that I put out is like a blessing in itself. And I wake up every day just super thankful that I can do what I do. So
For sure. Would you say you're living the dream? Or
um I wouldn't say I'm there yet, but
I got you.
I'm but again, the fact that I get to wake up every day and make music is, I thank God every day. It's incredible.
Sure. And the question that kind of ties this whole podcast together and what it's all really about is if it's any different, but what would you like your descendants to know about you? Like, think about generations ahead of you, and they're like, oh, I wonder what my ancestors were like. And for you, if you ever thought about what your ancestors were like, what question would that be, and how would you answer that for your descendants?
Hmm, it's a good question. For my descendants, I'd probably want them to know that. Hmm, I want them to know that nothing in this life comes easy, and you really have to work for whatever you want. And I would like to think that I work fairly hard for what I want and at what I do. And if I was to ask, if I was to ask any of my ancestors any questions,
We could tie this back at the end too, if you want to think about it a little more.
yeah, that one I might have to come back to. That's a really good question.
No doubt, no doubt. All right. So I'm also, trying to grow with this podcast and figuring out some things. One fun little icebreaker that I wanted to put out there. You can feel free to say no, but I'm thinking about doing some kind of spelling bee kind of aspect. I give you a word, see if you can get it. But if you don't feel confident in the spelling in your spelling skills, feel free to say no, and we could just move on.
No, let's try it. I'm down.
All right, for sure. So yeah, it's only one word. You get it,
Hmm.
then you automatically qualify for the spelling bee episode, whenever it comes up, and I get more contestants on. But yeah,
Okay.
you get two chances, just so you
Hmm.
know. But your word is gonna be indigenous.
Indigenous. Okay.
How do you? Yeah, go for it.
Indigenous. Indigenous.
Oh, you got it. For sure, for sure. You're the first person. I think I the other two episodes I gave one person automatopoeia, which was I think too crazy of a word. So I'm trying to scale it down a little bit, But
I
for
hear that. Yeah.
but for sure, man. Cool. Let's jump into the main meat of this thing. You got to
All
choose a
right.
number between 1 and 34, and I'll let you know what that question is. Go for it.
Let me take 24.
24. All right, this might be a little heavy.
Hmm.
But oh, and also if you have any questions you want to flip back at me, I feel like, it's better when it's a back and forth kind of thing. Feel free. But this one is, what can bring tears to your eyes?
What can bring tears to my eyes? An incredible song can bring tears to my eyes. Um, a lost love can and has brought tears to my eyes in the past.
I got you. I got you.
Um, what else? Um, on occasion, a sad movie can bring a tear to my eye,
For sure.
depending on
That
the day.
that up scene, the beginning of Up for sure made me cry. Um, I don't know if the last movie for me that made that happen was the Mr. Rogers documentary. I don't know if you ever seen that, but
Oh, I've been meaning to watch that.
dude, yeah, there's definitely a part where it's a tearjerker. Tell me about the latest song that probably made you feel those chills and maybe made your eyes water. That happens to
Ooh.
me all the time, man.
Um, Damn, it hasn't happened for me in a minute, but like there was this was probably a couple of years ago when I was I was going through something with this girl and I was listening to Devil in a New Dress, and like it gets to like the guitar solo like towards the end, and Mike Dean is just like destroying that guitar solo, and like everything that has led up to that guitar solo and then the guitar solo, like just like a really small tear like dropped from my eye, and I was like, damn, like this is
It's hidden.
this is a
It's
lot
hidden.
right now. Yeah, it was crazy, but
For
that
sure.
that man, that song is insane. Like one of my favorite songs.
No doubt, man. No doubt. Devil New Dress by who again?
Kanye.
Kanye. Kanye. Yeah,
Kanye.
yeah, yeah. For sure. For sure. I gotta take that. I haven't listened to that song in a long time, man. I do want to hear the guitar part you're talking
Yeah,
about though.
Incredible, incredible.
For sure. Um, Next question. Got another number?
15.
15. What was the greatest gift you ever received?
The greatest gift I ever received.
Yeah.
Hmm. Probably my mom giving me the gift of life.
Okay, okay.
Like that's probably the greatest gift I've ever received for sure.
For sure. What do you feel like is the greatest gift you've ever given?
Greatest gift I've ever given. See, that's a tricky question because like I'm a terrible gift giver. Like I'm definitely the type of person that's like, yo, I'll slide you some money for your birthday or just like and I don't like doing that sometimes because I don't want it to feel like oh like I'm just giving you money and like I'm disconnected from like buying you an actual gift, but like I just think too much and like I don't know what to get people, so I'm just like yo like I'll just give you money and like you can like do what you will with that, but
I got you. I
yeah.
got you.
I don't even know. Like, I probably can't answer it because, like, I usually just give people money for my birthday. But
Hey, I mean, cash is, better than nothing, man. I'll tell you that.
yeah, I mean,
And I mean, honestly, bro, like I think your music is a gift that you're giving people. So, if you think about it that way,
mm,
you're giving something for sure. Um,
thank you. It's a good way to think about it.
and no worries. Yeah, let's keep it rolling. I don't think, the point of this is not getting all 34 questions. It's just more so
Mm.
getting as many as we can. So, go ahead.
Okay, I'll take three.
3. If money and time didn't matter, what would you choose to do?
If money and time did not matter, I would put every single second, hour that I have into this music thing. Like
Word. Okay.
that is that is my final answer.
What is like let me ask you what is your vision for this music thing? Like how high do you want to get? Or do you yeah, what would you say where do you see yourself taking this thing?
I mean, personally, like I hate to like gas myself up, but like I feel like I'm versatile enough to be like one of the best to ever do this music thing. Like, and
Gotcha.
again, I say that like in the most humble way possible, but like I really do feel like I'm talented enough to be like something the masses have never really seen before. So
No doubt. I mean, so I'm the kind of person that probably has listened to to my share of music, and I always feel good when you find an artist when they're still developing their sound or still trying to come out with their debut album or whatever. And yeah, man, I think at least for me that versatility you're talking about, you do have something there. I think it's just after that, like I guess finding that right team or the right people to work with that kind of like complement your sound and take it to that crazy next level or whatever it is. Because
yeah,
I think we all know for one artist to really make it, it takes a whole bunch of people behind that person to make
for
things
sure.
happen, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, man. I think don't feel bad about whether or not you're being humble about it either. Like I know you got to have that mentality to really push yourself, because yeah, if I didn't think I could do this, then I wouldn't be doing it either. So yeah, man,
That's
for
a
sure.
fact. Yeah.
All right,
Next question. Let me get 20.
20. Oh, all right. Fill in the blanks. Politics is blank. We don't need to,
Politics.
yeah, we don't need to get political,
Hmm.
but yeah.
Yeah. Politics. Oh man, it's a facade.
The facade. I gotta like brush up on that meaning real quick, so I know what I'm talking about. But interesting. So I'll tell you the definitions I'm reading because it was not what I thought it was. It
Uh-huh.
was an outward appearance that is maintained to conceal a less pleasant or credible reality, which is yeah.
Yes.
I think you
A
hit it on the
lot
head.
of it's a lot of things being covered up and a lot of things that we don't see, but it's it's brushed off and cleaned for the masses to consume and give opinions on, and it's uh, everything isn't always what it seems.
No, man, it's yeah, I definitely feel like it's a device of control, At least the way the idea of our politics has been built, in and where we are. Yeah, it's
100%.
yeah, it's just shame that, it's become a tool to divide at the moment. But yeah, I
Yeah.
think I think it could change. Do you think that facade can change?
Um, I I do I do. It is gonna take a lot of work, a whole lot of work,
A lot of
and
time, a lot of time.
yeah,
Yeah,
and a lot of time. It's definitely not going to be overnight. But again, I do think that it's possible. Yeah.
for sure, for sure. Real quick, you said you were from New York.
Yeah.
Been there your whole life, or you moved out there?
No, yeah, I've been in Queens, New York my entire life. I spent a year in Connecticut, like my first year of college, but I ended up coming back home. So,
Oh, for sure, for sure. Damn, Queens, New York. That's I've never been to New York. I'm out here in Cali, and pretty much been staying on the West Coast anytime I really travel. But what's what would you say is like your pride and joy of Queens, New York, or like what do you feel like you take a lot of pride in from being from where your community,
hmm. One thing that I definitely take a lot of pride in is that like Queens as a whole like is just incredibly diverse, and that's in the type of people, just like so many different cultures, all different kinds of food, music, just like so many things that span the entirety of Queens, New York. Just super multifaceted and like just it's I tend to take it for granted sometimes, but like it's really an incredible place for sure.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up. I hope to get to visit someday. Yeah.
Yeah, man, you definitely should.
Will do. Will do. Well, what's your next number?
Ooh. Um, Let me get 25.
25. Okay. When someone is struggling with self-esteem, what is your go-to advice for that person?
Woo.
Yeah, man.
That is a that's a crazy question for someone who struggles with low self-esteem. but um
Oh man.
but um ha some advice I'd probably just say that like you were oh man you were created for so much more than what you see in front of you, like, and I that's definitely something I have to tell myself a lot, because like I can't always see what's ahead, and that kind of messes with my self-esteem a bit.
I
But
hear you.
like
I hear you.
when I'm reminded that like everything in front of me, like everything that's in front of me isn't everything, and like there's a greater purpose ahead of me, like that's something that really resonates with me personally.
Yeah, the bigger picture, kind of, right? Like at least that's what I tell
Yeah,
myself. It's the bigger picture because
for sure.
the ups and downs of our daily lives and whatnot can be hard to lose sight of what everything's about, right? Like you said. But
One
yeah,
thousand percent.
hey man, I appreciate you opening up like that. I know it's not always easy to open up about, especially about self-esteem. But yeah,
No,
much
man,
love.
I appreciate the question. I never get interviewed, so like this is a
Yeah,
perfect place to open up a little bit.
Right on, man. Right on. Um, yeah, let's next question. Go for it.
Let me get 34.
34. Ooh, okay. It's gonna go along with that last one. But what words do you need to hear?
What words do I need to hear? Hmm. You're really good at what you do. Don't stop.
Well, I'm here to tell you, man, you're really good at what you do, and don't stop. Don't stop, man. Um,
Thank you.
yeah, man. I mean, and I feel you on that. Sometimes we need that affirmation from somebody else just to hear those words outside of our head, you know? It's definitely important.
100%. Yeah. Super important.
Yeah, man, for sure. Um, yeah, well, in that kind of well, I was gonna ask about
Mm,
how did it may reminded me of asking about how did Portrait come about? You know, how did that first project kind of like materialize itself? And you know,
mm.
to me, usually the first project may be the one that takes the longest, just because it's all the experience and all those inspirations that you had rolled up into this one very first project. So, can you tell us a little bit about how that happened?
Yeah, definitely. So like I said before, I had been going to school in Connecticut for a year, and then I ended up coming back home to Queens, and I started going to school at this place called City College up in Harlem. And it had just so happened that a good friend of mine from high school, Will, he had come back from going to school. I think he was going to school in North Carolina. He had come back at the same time too, and we had both started going to City College at the same time. And probably like a year or two into being back in school together, we had started messing around and making beats together and stuff like that. And then there was one day where I had sent him like a little demo of me just like singing over some scratch of a beat that I made. And yeah, I sent it to him and he was like, "Hey, like we have to turn this into a song." And like that was probably like the first real song that I had ever written that like actually made sense. And I remember
Hmm.
like we went up to the studio at City College and cut it in like two or three takes and started working on the beat after that. And that song ended up being Girls Like Anita. And then
Oh,
and then once we got that, it was like off to the races from there. We spent the next probably about a year working on Portrait. So
yeah, that's what's up, man. Um, did it was it like a costly endeavor, or were you guys pretty resourceful and was able to make it happen, without spending too much?
yeah, definitely very resourceful. We had access to the school studio. We never had to pay for studio time. So that was really big.
Yeah.
Just yeah, I mean we really didn't spend I want to say any money, but like yeah, I don't think we did. Like
That
aside from like just spending the money to upload it
yeah,
to
yeah.
whatever distributor I used at the time. Yeah,
No, I hear
that was
you.
probably it.
That's what's up. That's what's up, man. So, to all the listeners trying to do this thing, just be resourceful. You can make it happen for sure. Uh,
Yeah, man. Just take. One thing I will say is just take your time. like
mm,
when I had Girls Like Anita, like I think there's only like 7 songs on Portrait. Like it didn't come out until like a year later. Like because I was still getting better at writing songs and getting better at production and all this stuff. Like I really had to like hone in on this new like this newfound talent that I was just it's still very much in its infancy, and I was still
yeah.
trying to figure it out. So yeah.
Is there a song that you feel like you spent like what song do you feel like you spent the longest time on? Just to feel like it sounded right for you.
Hmm. If I remember, are you talking about from Portrait or just in general?
In general, all your projects so far.
Hmm. I think out of all the stuff that's out right now, I say I probably spent the longest time on Butterscotch, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
I remember I wrote the song fairly quickly. Like I wrote the song in like 15 or 30 minutes, but recording it took, I want to say, like over a month, like probably like a month and some change. Like it took to like record that.
Just to get it to
'Cause
sound right.
yeah, just if I'm not mistaken, we had tried it once, but then weren't really feeling it, and then went back to it again. So yeah, I could be getting that wrong in my head, but like I'm pretty sure that's.
Did you were you shooting any like behind the scenes stuff that you could maybe one day put into a documentary about the journey, or was yeah, just wondering. Just wondering.
Honestly, yeah. Honestly, from like those early days, like from the portrait days, there might be a little bit of stuff, but I'd probably say there's more stuff like from Cascade Effect and Never Nothing. There's definitely way more behind the scenes stuff from those two projects than there was for Portrait. I just wasn't super cognizant of doing stuff like that at that time, which I definitely regret. But
I hear you. Yeah, we learn as we go on. Um,
for sure.
how has the process, if it has, changed for you from album to album, from Portrait to Cascade to Never Nothing?
Hmm. Um, I think it only changed like just this past year, just not being able to go see Will, or Identity Crisis as he's known publicly, like just for like, because we had kind of developed like a schedule. Like there'd be like 2 or 3 days out of the week where like when I'd get off of work, I'd go up to his apartment and we just work on whatever. Like, and once the pandemic hit, that definitely threw a wrench in how often we can meet up. We have started linking up again like from time to time now, but it's definitely a little more uh definitely a little more sparse and not as frequent. But yeah,
Sure.
that's probably the only thing that's changed. Other than that, like I still start a lot of demos here at my desk. Like I'll write stuff here at my desk, and
For
yeah,
sure.
that's
I got you.
yeah.
I got you. Does this also mean that you've produced all your songs? Or
Um, Majority of them I have produced with Will. Yeah,
wow, that's definitely key, man, for sure. That's dope that you guys are doing that.
for sure.
I've always been the guy to kind of guy, YouTube beats and find what's popping as far as like boom bap soul kind of stuff. And I'm working on it, and then all of a sudden I hear a new artist come out with the same beat, and I'm like, ah, I'm too late, someone's already using it.
I mean, I will say though, honestly, I have kind of been looking to type beats recently, like just to write to really, because I feel like just from sitting at my desk every day for the past however many months and working on stuff, it's starting to get a little bit stale for me, and I'm starting to get bored of
Mm,
my production a little bit. At least the stuff that I try and make for myself, like I make beats and stuff like that I could like put in a folder and like potentially sell to people. But like I've been finding recently that like the stuff that I make, or the stuff that I try to make for me, like it's not really resonating. So like I go to YouTube and like look up type beats, and like I'll just write to them, and then
yeah.
whenever I do link up with Will, we'll try and like create a new composition around the lyrics or the melodies that I've gotten from
I
the
see.
type beat. So
I got you. So it's part of the process too, a little bit, is to like, kind of get that flow down and then build around that flow afterwards. You know? Uh,
yeah, for sure. It definitely wasn't like that before. Again, because I was able to go see Will and we'd work on beats and we'd do all this stuff. But just again, just sitting at my desk doing the same thing over and over and over again. The going to YouTube has kind of given like a new source of inspiration a little bit.
I got you. I got you for sure. All right, let's jump back into the numbers. Go ahead and shoot me another one.
Yeah. Where are we at? I could do 12.
12. Have you ever had a want to get away moment? And what was the situation?
A wanna get away moment. Hmm. Excuse me. Probably like the end of last year.
Okay.
I was just like really like set up with just being in the house all the time. Like I was just never leaving the house. Like, and I was just like, not, like I need to get out of New York City. Like I need to escape the four walls of my bedroom and just like see something else, like see someone else. Like it was just it was getting to me a little bit, but
Yeah. So you've been indoors the whole time, or for like 95% of the time?
yeah, probably just because like I have a lot of vulnerable people around me, and like I just try not to go out too much, just to keep safe from the virus. And it has hindered me a little bit, but like I care about the people around me too much. Just like I live with my parents, and like I've been around my grandmother a lot more recently, just because like she's getting up there in age and like just like needs help with stuff. So I'm just trying to keep it as safe as possible and like really limit the amount of times that I have to go outside. So
I hear you, man. I mean, same kind of deal with me. I stay with my folks still, and they're up there in that age, and it's just like there's like so much anxiety when you go out a little bit because you just think about
yeah,
what can happen. So, um,
yeah, it
yeah,
sucks.
yeah, yeah. Uh, how long do you think this is gonna last? You know, we always thinking it's this time, or last year we were saying, oh yeah, 2021, and then now it's 2021, and we're like, all right, what's gonna happen next?
Still inside, yeah.
Yeah.
I'd probably I want to say like this, like 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 late summer maybe. Like
Yeah,
if
fingers.
if if we can really get on track with the vaccines and stuff, I feel like probably late summer we could have like some semblance of normalcy. I feel like a lot of people or most people will still be wearing masks, but like the like the threat of getting COVID won't be so heightened, and like you won't feel like it's behind every corner, like wherever you turn, like kind of how people feel
Oh yeah,
now. So
yeah. Uh, when it's all said and done, where are you gonna go first? What's the first vacation trip you're gonna take?
oh man, I've been thinking about LA like since the start of the pandemic. Like
Word,
so
word.
I'd really want to go to LA. That'd be great.
Have you been out here before?
Yeah, I went in August of 2019. That was like
Oh,
my
okay.
first
Yeah,
time.
yeah. Not,
So that was pretty cool.
for sure. That's what's up, man. Um, Shoot me another number.
Ooh, let me get 7.
7. Okay. What is something in your life that you've taken control of?
Hmm. Something in my life that I've taken control of. I'd say my emotions, probably. I think
Gotcha.
growing up, I was like especially in like my younger years, probably like 7 to 14. Like I kind of had a little bit of a temper, and I'd get kind of angry really easily. And like I feel like as I've grown and matured, I've been able to like really get a hold on that and like not be super reactive and just super all over the place when it comes to that. So
What what
definitely my emotions for sure.
what do you think kind of helped you, yeah, I guess grow into that, into being able to get a hold of your anger and control emotions more?
Um, weird. This might be a weird answer, but I think like going to high school, like kind of like helped me like
Okay, okay, yeah.
kind of reeled that in a little bit. I think so like my middle school, like I when I was in middle school, I had went to the same school for like from pre-K to 8th grade. So like I was with the same people for however many years, and I think like graduating and then going into this like completely different situation where like I knew absolutely nobody, and like just like I'm kind of a naturally shy person. So like just me stepping into that new situation and like being afraid to like embarrass myself or just like really like act out in any way. I think that more than anything like really really calmed me down. That and just like just like you like as you age like I mean most people, some people don't, but like as you age like you mature like by nature kind of. So yeah,
So, yeah,
just like a combination of those two things.
that's interesting, man. I too myself went to a K through 8 school. It was a Catholic private school out here in the city. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so I definitely understand the feeling like you kind of grow up with the same people, like and, it's your in a way extended family because you're spending more time with them than you do with like regular other people. So it is a
Exactly.
trip. Yeah, yeah,
For sure.
um, yeah. Let's jump into the next question. Go for it.
21.
21. What is a memory you feel like you may be misremembering? You know how sometimes when we talk about stories, there's always three sides. Our side, their side, and what really happened. So, was
Mm-hmm.
there a memory that you feel like you may have maybe misremembering?
Um, I can't pinpoint a memory, but I feel like there are like points in in some relationships that I've had that that I feel may have been bad for me, that like I may have been upset, or like I may have been like just a little down or whatever, but like thinking back like and just like being a little more mature now, like I would like like looking back, I was probably just being like kind of cranky or just like not like I don't know, but I'm realizing now that's not really answering your question, because that's not really me misremembering. That's more me like just reflecting and like just like really seeing the situation for what it was. So let me try and answer your question.
I was gonna say that makes sense too, just because if I realized to myself when I read this question was like, damn, my whole life might be the whole memory I'm misremembering. If in my definition was like, there's two sides or three sides to everything. So yeah, that that question I might have to change out. But yeah, let's move on. Let's move on. That's a tough one. That's a tough one for sure.
Tough one, but still a good question though.
Right on, right on. Yeah.
Definitely makes you think for sure.
That's all I want. That's the whole purpose. But yeah. Shoot me another number, man.
Let me see. Let me get one.
Number one. Um, there's probably a lot of these in your life, but what was one of the most pivotal points in your life?
Hmm. One of the most pivotal points in my life. Hmm. Probably when Portrait came out. And I would say that because it hmm, putting out Portrait made me realize that like I can actually do this. like like again like it kind of draws back to like the low self-esteem thing that I struggle with a little bit. It's not like throughout that process I would kind of battle with like, damn, like do people care like what I have to say and like about my perspective, and like, oh, like people make love songs all the time. What is that what does that mean for me? Like what am I trying to say? Like basically just saying like why does anyone want to listen to me kind of
Yeah.
thing. But
Yeah.
when Portrait actually came out, it was like wow, like I put out like a really high quality body of work that like people are enjoying, like people that I would have never thought like were enjoying it. So yeah, that whole process and like everything that happened since then, that was like a really big solidifier for me.
I gotcha. Just to build onto that question, like, what does it? I guess what does it mean for you to be able to write your lyrics and be able to express yourself in that medium? You know, go ahead, because I think for an artist, the way when they express themselves through whichever art form they use, it's it's um it's kind of like what we're doing now. You're opening up, you're talking, and you're expressing these things. So, uh,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So how does that? How does it feel for you to be able to do that? Yeah.
It is it is an indescribable feeling, man. I can't say it enough. I feel like for a long time, like before I started actually writing lyrics, like I kept a lot of stuff like bottled in, and like that in turn would like reflect negatively in my actions sometimes, and like how I speak and how I come off. But I feel like just like with writing music, like whatever I want to say, I can put it in a song, and like I can like like if I want to say something, but like I don't want people to know what I'm saying, I can do that too, and like just like play with words and disguise things and flip it and do the it and just like like having this like little coded language like with myself almost,
Oh, yeah.
where like I know that like I'm the only person that knows what this means, like and it's kind of a double edged sword too, because like I can have that coded language with myself, but like when it goes out into the world, like people can make that distinction for themselves. Like, oh, like for one person, these set of lyrics might mean one thing, but then for this set of people, these lyrics might mean a completely different thing. Like just like the marriage of all of those things together, like it is absolutely incredible, man. Like I can't talk about it enough.
Yeah, it's a connection that people have to your music and have to your words. That's pretty bananas.
Yeah, I'm shocked and astounded every day. Like whenever people tell me, like, "Oh my God, like I love your music," or like a couple months ago, I had this girl DM me and she was like, "Hey, like I just want to say like thank you like for your music. Like it got me through some like pretty dark times like during the pandemic, and I was like almost on the verge of tears. I was like, yo, like this is insane. Like I had no idea that I could like affect someone's day or someone's mood like in that manner. Like that was really crazy. Like when that happened.
Won't be the last, man. Won't be the last. Um, but let me ask you, how did you come up with the titles for your albums? I am curious about that. So, well, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
if you can kind of give your explanation.
Mm-hmm. So portrait, that kind of came to mind because I had written like majority of those songs about one specific relationship and like one point in my life. So like I kind of just like thought of it as like a snapshot of like a period in time, just like portrait,
I got you.
kind of like that. And then Cascade Effect, um, Cascade Effect was me kind of doing some like self analysis and like kind of going inward and like just really just like I don't know, just like assessing myself and like where I was at that point in time. And I feel like there were moments where like I felt like I was on a downward spiral, hence like the cascade effect. Like if I remember correctly, it's like the cascading effect is like the definition that I was reading at the time, like it was in reference to like a cascading like body of water,
Hmm.
and like yeah, that kind of like really resonated with me. Just like the just like the thought of like cascading water, but like somehow being able to stop it and like I don't know, just like flip it and turn it around and like make it into something good instead of something that's like rushing and catastrophic and destructive and like just all
Interesting.
of like that that's kind of where my head was at with that one. And then and then Never Nothing. I was working on the song Toast on
Yeah.
Never Nothing, and like I made that beat and I was gonna like I put it to the side, like I was like, oh, I'm gonna sell this to somebody. And then like a couple weeks later I'd come back to it and I was like, wait, you know what? Like like let me just try and do something over this. And I was just kind of freestyling that first verse, and I had said Never Nothing, I'm destined, and I was like in
Mm.
my head I was just like, yo, like what made me say Never Nothing? Like that's not a word. Like that's not
Yeah.
like I've never heard that said before.
Never nothing.
But then yeah, but then I started thinking about like the like just like the meaning behind like a double negative, and like how I had been feeling like throughout the process of quarantine, and like there was a small part of me that like felt like people were kind of doubting my ability, and like I wasn't like super like I don't know, just like I try not to talk about this and like sound ungrateful, but like I feel that like there was like a certain part of me that like wanted more than I was getting out of like music at that time,
Yeah, yeah.
and like a lot of these songs were kind of just like me kind of like flexing my ability and just saying like, hey, like I'm like no matter who hears this, like this is a reminder to myself and to everyone else that like I'm more than capable of like putting out and putting together like quality work. So yeah, that's kind of where Never Nothing came from.
That's what's up, man. Thank you for sharing. We got
Of course.
we got about 5 minutes left in the pod. So let's see how get like maybe a couple more questions in. Go for it.
Yeah, let me get two.
Two. If you could get one answer from the universe, what would you ask?
Who I would ask. Um, I'd probably ask what is going on. Like honestly, that
What's
like
going on?
I would really want to know the answer to like just what is going on. Like
You know, like uh, it, that would be probably a long. The I feel like a being that knows the universe that well would either give you a really complicated answer or one that's so simple that it may seem complicated. Like that's just me imagining, what the answer might
I
be.
I definitely agree with that. Honestly I could see the answer being super simple, and like God just being who he is, like just it wouldn't be it's something that us earth like our earthly like feeble minds like couldn't even comprehend, like,
Yeah.
and it's so simple, but like we just can't see it. Like
What'd be even crazier is that what if we knew the answer already, but because like, we weren't our minds weren't that 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 enlightened that we didn't never realize the answer was right in our face the whole time, That would be the trip.
yeah, on that is definitely a possibility also. Probably is right in front of our faces and we just don't see it, but
Or don't want to see it. Yeah, no, I feel you. We could talk about this all day. but yeah, shoot me one more question.
yeah, I'll take 29.
29. What worries you about the future?
Hmm. What worries me about the future? A number of things. The potential that music doesn't work and I can't provide for myself and my family. Climate change has been worrying me a bit recently. Um, Being alone is something that worries me in terms of the future. Um, hmm. The I'd probably say those are like the top three that like come to mind at the moment.
No, I hear you, man. I hear you. I don't think you're alone in those worries. I think there's a lot of us that can relate. Um, I mean, the way I try to deal with it would probably be, trying to focus on the things I can control, you know, um, and kind of, uh, yeah, like we said earlier, kind of keep our mind on the bigger picture, and you know, those up and downs, we just take those rides as they come. Um,
Exactly.
but yeah, no, for sure, man. Um, on a I like to end these things on a lighter note. That question was pretty heavy. Uh, but what's the greatest lesson you've learned thus far?
The greatest lesson I've learned thus far. Hmm. The greatest lesson I've learned thus far is to keep learning and keep pushing. Like those two things are just like paramount. At least right now for me. Just like keeping my mind open and like just being receptive and not being closed off, and but then also just like continuing to strive and like not giving up. Like that's been like super important for me, I think.
Yeah, man. Uh, that's dope. And I feel like with the with the pursuit you're going after, try to remember that always. Gonna be a tough thing.
Definitely a struggle, but it's something that I have to remind myself of every day. So,
Sure, man. Uh, well, that concludes this episode of 34 Questions. I want to thank you again, Section 2, for coming on. Um, you're the first person that I don't know in person that's come on too, so this is a big deal, a big deal to me too. Um, I hope you enjoyed it. And yeah, do you have any shout outs to anyone that might be listening?
first of all, I just want to say thank you, man. This was really great. Like I said before, I rarely get interviewed, so this was like a great experience. Thank you again for having me. And any shout outs that I have? Yeah, shout out to my guys. Shout out Will. Shout out other Will, Willie Mason. Shout out Rob. Shout out Mode. Shout out my mom. Shout out my sister. Like
Yeah, yeah.
shout out to like any fan who potentially watches this. I love you. Like you're incredible. Um, yeah, and shout out to you again for having me. Really appreciate it.
Well, thank you, man. So